What up? What's going on, everybody? Say it here. Yeah. What? Yo, what's good, y'all? Isaiah here. We'll talk some Big Brother. It's the off season, so I wanted to try some post-season content. Maybe just yap a little bit. These are unscripted. I like to yap. You know what I'm saying? So I think it'll be fun. Just doing some research, and I wanted to see what people's opinions were on like a Big Brother Mount Rushmore, and there were some interesting results to say. There's a lot of new conversations since Chelsea won about like who is like the best winners, who are some of the best players, and I want to touch up on those a little bit later, if not in podcast form, scripted video, edit, whatever. But I wanted to talk about my personal Mount Rushmore because I think that my perspective on strategy and everything is a little bit different than everyone else's. It's okay. Let's talk about it. Now, in order to be in a Mount Rushmore, I feel like you need to like represent your season in terms of strategy, entertainment, competition, something like you need to be like an icon for like what you represented for your season, right? And I think that there are only a select few people that can even qualify for this group. I like to break my things into eras, right? So I feel like in order to distinguish a Mount Rushmore for all of Big Brother, since we have like 26 seasons, I think that we have to kind of like break it up into like four groups. So for me, I break my eras up into different like segments. We got era 1, which is like season 2 to season 7, which is All Stars. Don't really count season 1, sorry Eddie. But I feel like I break them up in based off of like fraternity seasons. So season 2 to All Stars 1 would be the first one. Era 2 would be season 8 all the way up to season 14, because this is like the Dan and Ian season. And I just, some people put 15 in this conversation. I don't, but like, this is just my perspective, obviously. And then you got 15 up to 22, which is All Stars 2. We don't talk about that season. And then we got 23 up to now, which is 26. Not that big of a pool, but obviously a lot more people that you can include in these conversations, as well as, obviously still growing list up until we hopefully get another returning season. But we're going to do what we got to do. All right. So look, for me, era 1, and this is going to be quick. This is going to be a quick, an easy video. We're not going to dive too deep into this, not a podcast, but era 1, if I had to put like 4 people into my Mount Rushmore, it's very easy. I'm going to have Dr. Will, June, Danielle, Reyes, and Janelle. Those 4 are a prime example of what old school Big Brother represents to me. I think I had names for these eras. I'm going to call this one the golden era. The golden era of Big Brother is just like, Big Brother is just like this new thing. You're trying to get your footing. You're trying to figure out what Big Brother is. People are like very open to do different things because like there's no real way to play this game yet. And I think these 4 people represent what it is. I think Dr. Will, obviously, you can credit him to creating Big Brother. Obviously, this guy started the show. This guy figured out how to play the game, how to game it, manipulation tactics. Didn't even have to win a competition. Very charismatic in the camera and in the DR. I think that he just encompasses what a great show is, and the fact that he is still relevant to this day. Being brought in as like the jury host, and he was brought as like a twist for All Stars too. He just deserves it, so there's that. And then you got to move on to June, who is obviously such a great winner, our first Asian winner as well. I think that she obviously encompassed what a floater game is, and I feel like it's kind of got twisted into this different thing that's bad over time. But I think she's an amazing floater, amazing winner. Obviously, just like Will, a great personality. I think that she's so funny, so entertaining. Work that she did with Allison was hilarious. I just love June, obviously. I think June is constantly brought up in like top 5 discussions. Like I said, different conversation for another podcast, but June's up in there. Then we got Danielle Reyes. She didn't win. Obviously, our first non-winner included. There's a couple non-winners included. That's fine. But she changed how juries are operated to this day. I think that Danielle, obviously such a great villain, such a classic TV villain in her first showing, she completely got robbed. Like, let's be real. I think that her and Jason's work with the Secret Alliance was amazing. I love everything that she did with her countdown and the DRs and all that. And she did some amazing work in All Stars too. That's another great showing. I forgot to bring him up about Dr. Will as well. But she did amazing. She is the Black Widow. Okay, so shout out to Danielle. And lastly, we got Janelle. Okay, so Janelle is the OG comp beast. You know, Janelle is the bye bye bitches, the give me my key, bitch. Like she's awesome. She is just such a character. And what, she's been brought back like 4 times now. Yeah, been brought back 4 times. She played 6, 7, 14, and she played All Stars too. And that's no coincidence. She's just great at being menace. Never been that great at the game, but she's gotten the final 3 twice. That is no easy feat. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Janelle, and she will always be a legend in this community. Then we got Era 2. Era 2 is a little bit more interesting. So if we have the golden era, let's call this one the silver era, because I think that this one is also equally comparable. Not as good as the first one, but still it holds its own. Not that strategic. We're going to get into that in a second. But a whole lot of drama, a whole lot of gameplay, a whole lot of evolution when it comes to strategy as well. So you got to include these people. Number 1 in my list for the silver era is obviously Dan Giesling, my GOAT, obviously the best Big Brother player of all time still in my book. I think Dan just did it all his season. I think that he showed how to play from the bottom, and it still dominated season in 2 showings, because again, we're including Big Brother 14 in this. I think he showed how he can be like the villain and he can also be the hero. And I think that it was just such a great time just to see both of these showings. Him coming up with these crazy strategies like nominee Vito. Coming up with these crazy strategies like veto replacement, nominee roulette, Dan's funeral was also something crazy. Like, this guy is insane. I can sit here forever and talk about how amazing Dan is, but I hope you know, if you're a Big Brother fan. I'm finding out a lot of people don't watch all the seasons. Go watch all Dan seasons. What are you doing? The second one I'm going to include is gotta be Rachel Riley. Okay, Rachel Riley, my first Big Brother winner, season 13 winner. She has come back. I wouldn't be shocked if we see Rachel a 3rd time. She was supposed to be in All Stars too, but she was pregnant. Rachel is just crazy, bro. Like, good crazy. Obviously, like, she is so toxic. And she is just amazing television. I still don't know how she won. Some people say production and involvement. I ain't going. Hey, I don't know nothing. But listen, Rachel is just awesome TV. She is such a comp beast as well, and she does not care about like people. Like, she obviously had an amazing showmates with Brenchel. She obviously had so many crazy moments like floaters, grab a life vest, which honestly sparked this huge conversation that messed up the definition of a floater. But I just think that she was just awesome TV her season, and she's such a good Big Brother villain. And I will always take more Rachel Riley. She's one of my favorites. And then it gets a little difficult because I have like 3 people to try to like round out the end of this Mount Rushmore, because there's a lot of options, but I've got to include one of the brigade members. So shout out Hayden Moss. He's got to be in my 4. I think Hayden is the face of the brigade. I think Hayden in the brigade did amazing work, and honestly changed the way that we look at alliances to this day. You know, once we get to the next era, it kind of ruined it for a little bit. We're kind of fixing it, but I know we're talking about Big Brother, but Hayden's Survivor showing was also very fun to watch, and they were just so dominant. They broke the game, they broke strategy, and to this day, we see so many people trying to replicate that strategy. So shout out to Hayden. Hayden's got to be included in this. And lastly, we don't have any biases here, so we're going to be fair. We got to include the Donatos. One of the 2, though. Not both, just one of the 2. Because this duo of a father and daughter just steamrolling to the end was crazy. Again, possible production involvement. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to involve Evil Dick. You got to. I think Evil Dick is just such a classic Big Brother villain. This guy was so evil, so rude. Outside of the show, involvement aside, I think on the show, he was just so good. He did have somewhat of a strategic mind. I think he did so good with that final 3 competition that against Zach. I was so impressed by that, when you just had to basically stand there, hold a rope, and rain. Like, that was just so awesome to watch as a TV competition. And I don't know, Dick has amazing moments as well, banging pots and pans, even though it's kind of messed up, burning cigarettes on people. You know, Dick is just crazy, man. So you got to include him. So that's my 4: Danielle, Rachel, Hayden, and Dick. And then last we got Era 3. We're gonna call this the Dark Age. I apologize. I actually like a lot of these seasons. This is really around the time where I really started getting deep into Big Brother. But you gotta call it the Dark Age. There's a lot of evil stuff going on here, a lot of bad stuff, and gotta be straight up. So first one, the Dark Age. Gotta put Derek. Derek Levasseur broke Big Brother. Derek Levasseur, regardless, is still one of the best strategists Big Brother has ever seen. Not the best television personality, but you cannot deny the greatness of this guy. He just did amazing work around this season. there's a lot of twists involved that people don't like to bring up. You know what I'm saying? A whole lot of America's help that people don't like to bring up, but it doesn't matter. I think Derek was just so great in Big Brother 16, especially with that cast of kooky characters. I just really enjoyed Derek. I would like to see Derek come back. I hope he comes back one day because, like, stop ducking the fade, bro. But Derek was awesome. Next, we're going to put Vanessa Rousseau. In my opinion, top three to never win Big Brother, possibly number one. But Vanessa was just awesome. She has a lot of flaws as a player, but it doesn't matter. She's so messy and so strategic at the same time. It just somewhat helps. I don't know how it works. The crying, the constant backstabbing, the crazy blind sides and alliance creations and big deals she would make was just so good to watch in Big Brother 17. I didn't care for her too much when I first watched her, but I really appreciate her a lot more as I'm older, and I would love to see her play again. It's really a crime that she didn't win, but Steve obviously he deserved that win. But Vanessa, I need to see Vanessa back. She's awesome. One of the best ever to play the game. Got Paul. Paul's number three, Paul Abram. I think Paul was very dominant in his run, his second run. The first one, 18, is questionable. I still feel like he should have won 18 over Nicole, but like that's a conversation for another day. But Paul was just Paul. Paul did a lot of crazy tactics, manipulation tactics, group think, hive mind, bullying a little bit, but like I don't care. I'm gonna be real with you. That if you're a grown adult listening to this person telling you to bang pots and pans and stuff, why would I get mad at Paul? These people can make decisions for themselves. They're not going to jump off a cliff if this guy tells them to jump off a cliff, right? But Paul just was just awesome to watch in his run. Super dominant player. Shout out to Paul. I'm a Paul guy. Okay, shout out Paul. And then the last slot gets very hard because I didn't include Cody. Even though shout out Cody, he could be in the running. I didn't include him. Um, I feel like there's two people that you can talk about. One of them won and one of them didn't. You got Nicole Franzel, who I feel like obviously put her stamp on Big Brother. She participates in 3 of these seasons. And then you got Tyler Crispin, who he did 2 of them, but he had a really dominant run. But and I haven't even come to the decision with these tiebreakers, by the way. I'm kind of coming up with it on the fly. I'm going to probably lock in on Nicole Franzel because I think Tyler, even though he did really good for one half of 2 seasons, I don't think that he deserves to be on the Mount Rushmore. I think he's a little overrated. I respect him as a player, but I feel like he really just like let people have the game, especially when it was involved with Angela at the time. It just gets very like complicated. I'm gonna give it to Nicole Franzel. Obviously, very flawed, but she is been in the final 3 twice in her 3 runs. She won reindeer games. I know that's in the next era, but like it doesn't matter. I think Nicole is just such a good villain as well. And she's never going to own up to being a villain, but she is a villain. The way that she works with guys over girls is very crazy, but like it worked. She's not afraid to just do what she needs to do. She doesn't have the best decision making. I do believe if it was up to her, both of her showings, she possibly would have brought people that could have beat her, but it doesn't matter. I was such a Nicole hater when I first got into this community, but like I've grown to appreciate her a little bit more over time. So I'm going to include her. So we got Derek, Vanessa, Paul, and Nicole. And then lastly, we got the Renaissance era. This is the new era. This is after All Stars 2. This is like new casting rules, more diversity initiatives. And I like this era a lot, even though it does get a little sloggy, but again, conversation for another day. If we do like a season Mount Rushmore or something, who knows? Number one's got to be Taylor Hale. I think there's a lot of Taylor haters. There's a lot of Taylor haters, and that's fine. I'm not gonna. Everyone can have their own opinion, okay? But like, for me, I appreciate Taylor. Okay. Not the strongest winner. I'm going to be real with you. Not the strongest winner, but her story was amazing. I think the fact that she was at the bottom and survived enough to get to the top was great to watch. Possible production involvement. There's a lot of people who say production helped her. I'm not going to confirm or deny because I wasn't in the season, but I'm going to keep it real from my personal list. I'm going to put Taylor there. She has a lot of good one-liners. She's obviously a great television character, and I see a future for her with Big Brother at some point. I'm gonna be real with you. Hate it if you want. Like it if you want. I don't really care. But Taylor, she's in my top four for that. Next, we're going to put our newest winner of Big Brother. I'm going to put Chelsea. I think Chelsea has solidified herself as one of the upper echelon in Big Brother. Again, there's a lot of opinions on that. Like it if you want, hate it if you want. You don't have to watch the video. But I think Chelsea was very dominant in her win, in her run. I think that that cast, as chaotic as it was, just allowed her to basically just like drag them all to the end. I think Chelsea just did amazing work. Not the best character with especially with stuff and feeds. Uh, I was a little bit of a hater. I'm not gonna lie, but she still was fantastic. I really liked her a lot, and I think that when years go by, we're gonna be looking back at Chelsea's win as something extremely impressive. She's in my top four personally, right after the big three. We'll see if that changes, but yeah, shout out to Chelsea. Number three, not my favorite winner, but I'm going to put Jag for what he represents. Jag is our first person to get eliminated and then win the same season. That's a little bit of production. He won a lot of competitions. That's a little bit of production. But Jag is still someone to be respected. He won the season. I think that the work that he did with Matt and Bowie Jane, he did what needed to be done. I think that his final two showing with Matt basically giving credit to the duo and Jack usurping that to basically giving credit to himself was amazing to watch. And he's our first Pujabi winner. I gotta give Jack some credit. Jack is number three. And number four, it's very controversial because those first three slots are all winners. I have three people left in my mind for this fourth spot. And I love all three of them. So it's going to get a little complicated. Two of them are non-winners. One of them is a winner. We have Xavier Prather as our winner, and then we have Tiffany and Sari as our non-winners. And I think all three of them represent something different. Sari is our first Survivor player to come over to Big Brother, and I think she brought a whole lot of new viewership over here. Not the strongest showing, but she still did a fantastic job during her season, and I think that counts for something. Then we got Tiffany Mitchell. I think Tiffany represents the show like crazy. I think Tiffany was such a great strategist, but she sacrificed a lot of her games for the cookout, which, it kind of sucks to see, but like she still did her thing. And I think that she possibly could have won the season if she played her own game. And then last you got Xavier, the first black man or black winner in general to win over in US. I'm not counting Tamara Braxton. We're talking about mainline Big Brother, and Xavier, as much as people like to hate on this game, did a great job in terms of comps, social game. I think he's the one who kept the cookout together. And I respect X a lot as a winner. He's in my top 10. I'm gonna be real with you. So a lot of people are going to be upset with this decision. I'm going to include Xavier in my top four for this Mount Rushmore for the Renaissance era. I think that Xavier represents what the cookout is. He is the face of the cookout. The cookout is the most dominant alliance in Big Brother history. Proud of your mom about it. And they did their thing. I think that had it not been for X, we wouldn't see Kylan, Tiff, DF, or Azza or Hannah get to where they need to be, because this alliance is about to blow up like 10 times. They were about to fight constantly, and they still did their thing. He kept his cool, even, he played Kylan, he played Derek F and Azza, who, no, he was loyal to them, but like they, clash, and then he stuck with them. I like X as a winner. I think X deserves it, so I'm going to include X. So, with that being said, hopefully I edited all these pictures, and I'm going to have to pick four players from these Mount Rushmores. So, out of these four lists, I need to pick four people, and it's going to be very hard because there's a lot of good players in here, obviously, and a lot of good personalities. I'm going to encapsulate social game, comps, strategy, and entertainment. Icons, okay? Two of these slots are like already locked in. I'm just gonna say it. Dan and Will are Big Brother. I'm sorry if this upsets anybody, but Dan and Will this is Big Brother. Dan and Will are 100% locked in for my top four. So Dan Giesling and Will, those two are the first two faces for our Mount Rushmore. It gets interesting after that because I feel like, do we need new school representation? I don't know. I don't feel like we got the Machiavellians with Will and Dan. I don't know if Derek is locked in as I thought it was, because at first, I don't know if I could put Danielle in there anywhere either. I feel like this Queen of Big Brother spot needs to be put in somewhere. And I got to give that to either Janelle or Rachel. Dan, Will, Janelle. Janelle is going to be my third slot. I think Janelle is just such an icon. She's played 4 times, and she's gotta give her some respect to that. She's just so many. She has so many good TV moments. Like it's unmatched. So she's gonna be number 3 in my list. She's not the best player, obviously, but it doesn't matter. I think that she's icon. So you gotta put Janelle. Dan, Will, Janelle. We got one more. This is hard because a lot of these new winners, I feel like they haven't put enough time in to be on this list. So Renaissance era, I'm sorry. You guys are exempt. You guys are not qualifying for this list. A lot of people are going to click off this video after that, but I don't care. Olive era 2 is exempt outside of Dan. So we're going to knock you guys out too. Danielle is number 4. We got Will, Derek, Danielle, and Janelle. And look, 3 of them come from Era 1, but they put in the legwork, man. If Danielle didn't come back from reindeer games, I probably would have been like more hesitant, but she has come back multiple times. You know, like she has submitted herself as a legacy player in the show as well. Derek, if I didn't pick Danielle, Derek would have been the 4th, but you gotta show respect where respect's due. So, like I said, I've seen every season. So I'm not talking out of my ass, but like if you have a different opinion on this, please comment on the video down below, like, comment, and subscribe, and interact with me on Twitter at 8BallBangers. I want to hear what you guys think about this video. You guys want more videos like this where I'm just talking? Do you want more like scripted videos? What do you guys want to see from me? Because like I'm over here chilling. I don't have BB Can or US to really talk about right now. So I'm just out here vibing. You feel me? All right, but listen, we out. Until next one. Bye.